Hello everyone, welcome once again. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is reaching the age of adolescence. Now, first of all, let's understand what is adolescence. So, adolescence is the age between 11 years to 19 years in humans. Human become capable of reproduction after puberty. So, this is also called age of puberty, and it is between 11 years to 19 years. The onset of puberty brings about growth of the reproductive organ. Whenever the puberty starts, that means that specific male or female is ready to reproduce, and reproductive organ gets developed at the time of puberty. Hairs grow at various places on the body. Breast develops in girls, and facial hairs like mustaches and beards in case of boys. These are the significance of the puberty in case of males and females. The voice of boys become hoarse as voice box enlarges during the adolescence. The voice box, or we can say the Adam's apple, that grows and it is visible from outside in case of boys. Children gain height during adolescence. Adolescence is the age where the height increases the most. Now, puberty is the time when sex organ begins to work. Sex organ develops completely and they begin to work. That means they are ready to reproduce. It brings about growth in reproductive organs and changes in the body. Puberty starts at the beginning of adolescence. At the beginning of adolescence, that is, we have talked about 11 years, the puberty starts, and the onset of puberty starts much earlier in girls, between 8 to 13 years, whereas it starts between 10 to 14 years in boys and lasts up to 2 to 4 years. So this is the age of puberty. Now, what changes occur during puberty? Let's talk about that. First one is increase height. There will be sudden increase in height of adolescents. The bones of the legs and arms elongate and individual becomes tall and lanky. So this is what happens in adolescence age. The height suddenly increases. Next one is change in body shape. In boys, the body becomes more muscular, shoulder becomes wider, but in case of girls, the body shows curves in certain parts and the region below the waist become wider and broader. If we talk about boys, they become muscular and the shoulders become wider, but in case of girls, there become certain curves in the parts and the region that is below the waist, it becomes broader. Next one is change in voice. In boys, the voice becomes hoarse and heavy due to the extra growth of larynx. So larynx is what we called voice box. Larynx is also called voice box, or we also call it as Adam's apple. It grows, but in case of girls, the voice become high pitched and shriller. So this is the difference between change in voice of boys and girls. The voice of boys become hoarse and heavy, whereas the voice of girls become thin and high pitch. Next one is sweat and sebaceous glands. At the age of puberty, the sweat and sebaceous glands, they get activated. They become more active and secrete more sweat and oil. This is the reason why in the age of teenage or adolescent age or puberty age, they got pimples or acne on their faces. Pimples or acne appear due to increased action of sebaceous glands or oil glands. So the pimples or acne on skin, they are due to the extra secretion of oil glands or sebaceous glands from the body, because oil glands and sebaceous glands, they get active at the time of age of puberty. After that, emotional aspect development, they becomes emotional, they get emotionally attached to the family and the society. Next one is mental and intellectual development. This is the age when the mental and intellectual development is at its peak. So this is the peak for the development of intellectual and mental development. Next is the sex organ grow and become functionally active. As the age of adolescence come, the sex organ completely develops and they are ready to get reproduced. The testes starts producing male gametes called sperm. as we have discussed in the previous chapter, that male gametes are called sperm, whereas female gametes are called ovum. So this is the age when the male gametes start producing, that is sperms, and the ovaries grow and releases one mature ovum in a periodic cycle of 28 days. At the every 28 days, the ovaries release one mature egg, and if the egg does not get fused with the sperms, then it will rupture and it will come in the form of bleeding in case of girls, which is called menstrual cycle. The onset of puberty and maturity of reproductive parts are controlled by hormones. Different hormones are responsible for the reproductive parts to be mature. Now, what are hormones and how they work? Hormones are secretion of endocrine glands. Endocrine glands secrete some chemicals and we call them as hormones, which pour them directly into the bloodstream. Endocrine glands secrete some hormones and we can say chemicals, and they are directly secreted into blood because they are ductless gland. That is also called ductless gland. They do not have any tube-like structure through which they can be stored and through which they could be reached to the body. That is why they are directly mixed into the blood so that it could reach to the each and every part of the body. Now, what are different hormones that is being secreted? One is pituitary gland that secrete hormone which includes growth hormone and hormones that make other glands such as testes, ovaries, thyroids, adrenals secrete hormones. So, pituitary gland is also called master gland because it controls all the glands which secretes the different type of hormones. And it also secretes growth hormone. Growth hormone is secreted by pituitary gland and it also controls other hormone. That is why it is called master gland. Pancreas secrete insulin. Insulin is secreted by pancreas. Thyroxine is produced by thyroid gland. Adrenal produce adrenaline. So these are the different hormone that is being produced by pancreas, thyroid and adrenal. Now testosterone is the male hormone and estrogen and progesterone are female hormone. These are the sex hormones that is being secreted. The uterine wall in females itself to receive the developing fertilized egg in case there is no fertilization. As we have talked, the one egg is released every month by the ovaries. If the egg does not fertilize with the sperm, then it will come out in the form of blood through the uterus line. Now, sperm and ovum fuse together to form a zygote. Sex chromosome sperm determines the baby. The sex of the baby is determined by the males only, because in case of female, only two X sex chromosomes are there, but in case of male, X and Y sex chromosomes are there. So, female always releases X chromosome, whereas male could release X or Y chromosome. So, it is dependent on male that whether it releases X chromosome or Y chromosome. If it releases X chromosome, the child will be girl, and if releases Y chromosome, the child will be boy. So it is dependent on the father that whether the child will be boy or girl. Now, reproductive health. It is important to eat balanced food and maintain personal hygiene. Proper cleaning should be there. Cleaning of private part is important to prevent different infections at this age. As the sebaceous gland and oil glands are active, so they secrete more oil and sweat. So we should take care of all these things. The activity of sweat gland increases. Physical exercise should be done to keep the body fit and healthy. Peer pressure is the best addressed by self-confidence and healthy lifestyle. Self-confidence should be there and healthy lifestyle should be used in case of reproductive health. So that's all about this chapter. I hope you liked the video, you have understood it well. For more details, stay connected to my channel. Thank you and have a good day to all of you.